A sudden black dot appeared in the sky. The girl looked through the telescope and was instantly drenched in cold sweat. It turned out someone was walking on a tightrope 500 meters above the ground. Not only was there no safety equipment on the person, but they also lay down when they got tired. One foot hung in the air, and the hands slowly released the balance pole. At this height, looking down, the cars on the ground were the size of toys. The roads on both sides were already crowded with pedestrians looking up at him. He reached out and touched the clouds, quietly enjoying the high altitude. His name is Felipe. He was deeply fascinated by tightrope walking when he first saw a performance at the age of 8. He thought it was the greatest art in the world. Since then, tightrope walking has become his dream. Back home, he couldn't wait to tie a rope between the trees. He decided to try tightrope walking himself. As the number of ropes decreased, he transformed from a young child into a handsome young man. Felipe is not a professional performer and is not professional in fixing ropes, so he found an old master to teach him about tightrope walking. He started learning from the adjustment of the tightness of the tightrope and then learned the method of knotting. His technical learning was very fast, but his mentality was unstable. Every time he was a few steps away from the end, Felipe couldn't help shaking. He almost fell off the tightrope. The old master warned him that most tightrope walkers die in the last 3 steps. Even if it's the last step, you can't relax for a moment as long as you're on the tightrope. In order to improve Felipe's psychological quality, the old master arranged a field performance for him. Felipe was quite stable at the beginning, but when he walked to the middle, the noise of people and the ridicule of the audience gradually made him unable to stand firm. His first performance ended in failure. However, the failure instead stimulated Felipe's competitive spirit, so he turned his goal to Notre Dame de Paris. He and his companions secretly infiltrated Notre Dame de Paris and took advantage of the night to secretly install the tightrope. The next day, when tourists arrived at the door of Notre Dame, Felipe began his first illegal high-altitude tightrope walking performance. This time, no one could disturb him. He walked every step calmly and gracefully, and even knelt on one knee on the tightrope. Everyone clapped for him. He successfully presented a perfect performance. Although he was taken away by the police after the performance, it gave him great confidence, so he decided to challenge the tallest building in the world, the New York World Trade Center Twin Towers. He immediately came to the bottom of the Twin Towers and saw the 2 buildings reaching into the sky. Felipe felt fear and almost wanted to give up, but when he came to the top of the building and walked to the edge, he looked down. Suddenly a gust of wind came, and he immediately stabilized his balance. At this moment, Felipe's thoughts in his heart gradually became firm. He wanted to walk on a tightrope in the air 500 meters high, but to walk on a tightrope at this height, auxiliary balance is most important. In order to deal with extreme situations, Felipe asked his friends to shake the tightrope to practice balance. They determined the performance time, which is only 3 months away from now. During this period, Felipe accidentally stepped on a nail, which increased the probability of failure for the already difficult action. His friends advised him to give up the challenge, but Felipe still insisted on his dream. They still chose to secretly install the tightrope at night. Then Felipe, facing the first ray of sunlight in the morning, took the great step in pursuing his dream. At a height of 500 meters in the air, he had no protective measures on his body. Once he loses his balance, he will be shattered, but he is fearless in his heart, and every step falls steadily. He showed a very confident smile. Felipe steadily walked to the middle of the tightrope, and his friends on the ground were very excited. They guided passers-by to watch. Felipe successfully walked from the South Tower to the North Tower, and his dream finally came true. They felt incredible, but there was no joy on Felipe's face. He looked in the direction of the South Tower and made a shocking move. He walked back to the South Tower again. This time, it's not just walking over, but halfway through, he started his performance. He slowly moved his feet backward and knelt on one knee on the tightrope. His shoe soles have already left bloodstains, but he is not afraid at all. Instead, he reached out to the tightrope in tribute. Then he stood up and continued to move forward. At this time, 2 policemen came to the top of the building. They scolded and asked Felipe to come back, but Felipe just laughed. Then this action almost scared the police. Felipe continued to walk in the opposite direction, then knelt on both knees on the balance pole. At this time, many police officers also came to the North Tower, but Felipe was not disturbed at all. He even jumped in front of them and then turned around and walked back. He put down the balance pole and stood up slowly with one foot, which scared the police again. Felipe was tired of playing, so he just lay down on the tightrope. He was going to rest for a while. At this time, More and more audiences gathered on the ground. Felipe looked up at the sky and felt nature. At this moment, a bird flew out from the clouds. Felipe felt threatened at the moment, so it quickly stood up and prepared to go back. The wood fixing the tightrope has begun to deform. Felipe tried his best to stabilize his balance, then carried the balance pole on his shoulder and walked back slowly. At the end, he even joked with the police. Finally, Felipe was arrested on the spot, but he was welcomed like a hero. Everyone cheered and applauded for him, and even the police admired him. The director of the Twin Towers gave him a pass without a deadline and let him engrave his name next to the tightrope.